Okay, cool. Bear with me. I don't know how to use a camera, and I just got a new camera from like a new Nikon camera, and I don't know how to work it. Hey everyone, I'm Tegan. I'm 21 years old, and I'm about to embark on a study abroad in Seoul, South Korea. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be taking this camera with me while I am in South Korea. I'm also going to be using my phone, so the quality might differ. But I'll be taking this around with me in Seoul, wherever I go, to the field trip, all throughout Seoul, and on my way back as well. So you guys are here to join me for the adventure. So this first video, I'm not in South Korea yet. Currently it is June 10th, 2018, so I leave for Seoul in 10 days. A whopping 10 days. So I'm making this video sort of as an introductory video so that everyone watching knows who I am, and so that they can understand why I chose the program that I did, why I'm going when I am, how I'm preparing for it, a little bit of information about the application process and about Yonsei itself, so that by the time that I leave, all of the basic questions are answered and I can focus on the actual atmosphere of study abroad. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the first question I guess I'll address is why Seoul and why summer? So I am a double major at my home university, and so I have to take very, very heavily loaded semesters every single time. So I felt like if I went on a normal, semester-long study abroad, it would kind of conflict with my schedule and put me back, even if I could take classes that closely related to my course of study. And so I didn't want to do that. I want to get out as fast as I possibly can, even though I love college. So I chose summer. That was why I chose summer, because it fit into my academic course track the best without messing up everything, and I still get academic credit for it as well. And the reason that I chose Seoul is a lot of my friends and family know this, but I have been wanting to go to Seoul, South Korea since I was 13 years old, and I'm 21 now, so about a third of my life I've been wanting to go to this country. And the opportunity finally presented itself for this year, and so I took it and I'm going with it, and I've never been so excited in my life to take part of something as monumental as this to me. So while I'm in Seoul, South Korea, I will be studying at Yonsei University. Yonsei University is the Y part of the SKY University, or the Sky Universities within South Korea, and the Sky Universities are the top 3 universities within the entire nation of South Korea. So there were stipulations for applying to Yonsei, as I'm sure there are for every single university. For the summer study abroad program, you need to be sophomore standing and you have to have a 2.5 or higher in GPA. And the main step is when you apply to Yonsei. So this is pretty much life or death in the program. If you get accepted, then you move on to the next stage. But if you get rejected, there's not really much else that you can do. Next steps of the application were through Yonsei. So I created a profile in Yonsei and I completed my application, so that meant turning in the form for activities and for the internship. So you can complete an internship in the summer while you're there. I didn't opt to do that, but I know a lot of people who did, and they are competitive. So if you're planning on applying to the internship, make sure you submit it as soon as you can, and that you apply to as many as you can, because they're very competitive. And then the extracurriculars are interesting. There is a 3-day field trip that you can go on before the entire program takes place. And you go to like Sokcho, and you go to a water park, and you go to like a Confucian scholar's house. It's pretty interesting. Like, there's a lot of different things that they incorporated into it, and I felt like if I didn't go on this trip, I wouldn't be able to do it on my own, and if I did somehow manage to do it on my own, it would be more expensive doing it on my own, so that's why I opted into the field trip. On top of that, Yonsei also offers weekly Friday field trips to different places. I'm only doing one. I'm doing the DMZ tour because I felt like I would get the most out of that, out of all of the options that they have, but they have lots of options. They have a Seoul City tour, I think. They have like a folk village tour where you visit a folk village. And the DMZ tour, they have a mud festival, and that seems pretty popular. So you can go on a wide variety of things. You can also take part in different kinds of activities. So in the past, they've had like K-pop dancing. They didn't seem to have that this year, but they do have Taekwondo, which they seem to have every single year. So if you're interested in doing Taekwondo, you can take that while you're at Yonsei. There are two big, very stressful events that are going to happen when applying to housing and applying for classes, so class registration. Housing was very stressful. I think that happened somewhere in late April, and it was stressful for one main reason, and that was because there is not enough rooms for everyone to stay on campus during this program. So Yonsei has two dorms. They have SK Global House and they have International House. And SK Global House is where a lot of students seem to prefer to go because it's newer, it's co-ed, so boys and girls can stay there, and you have your own bathroom in every single dorm room. And you can also have the option for single rooms, which means you have your own dorm, like you don't share with a roommate. Whereas International House is female only, it's kind of older, and there's communal bathrooms for every single floor, and it is only double rooms. I applied as soon as the application came open, and I applied for International House because it's about $100 cheaper, give or take, and I figured I wasn't going to be in the dorm that often, you know, whether it be I'm out studying, or I'm out hanging out with friends, or I'm out exploring Seoul, or I'm at a concert, or I'm at a class, or something. It wasn't going to bother me. So I applied to International House and I got a room. However, there were many people who got rejected. So if that was the case, you can, from the get-go, elect to live off campus. I wanted to live on campus because I wanted to be around students that I knew, or just people my age, and I wanted to be on campus so it was closer to walk to classes. You can live in DMCville. That is something that Yonsei recommends, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's sort of like a hostel hotel type of thing, maybe sort of like a Gashina, I'm not really sure, but you can live there. It's about 20 or 30 minutes away from campus though, so I really didn't want to have to default to that, but I know some people who did. You can also hook up with several people and split like an Airbnb. There were quite a few people who did that, or you can stay in a Gashina or a hotel or a hostel or something like that. And the last bit of Yonsei that I have to talk about is class registration. So class registration was also kind of stressful because of course, as any class registration is at a university, it is, you know, you have a limited number of seats for every single class, and if you don't get that, then you're kind of screwed because many people don't have a backup class. I got all the classes that I wanted to. You can either take 2 classes, so 6 credits, or you can take 3 classes, 9 credits, or you can do the 4-week track. I'm doing the 6-week track. 4-week track I think is only 2 credits, or 2 classes, so 6 credits, but I'm doing the 6-week track. Something that I figured out recently, like pretty recently, is that you don't even have to take a Korean language class. I thought you did, but it is not mandated, it's not obligatory, but I am taking it. I am taking that, and I'm also taking 2 classes that go towards my major. I'm taking marketing and international management, so those both go towards both of my majors, so it worked out really, really well. If you do opt in to take the Korean language course, you need to just sign up for a placeholder course. You don't need to sign up for any specific course, because when you arrive at Yonsei, they're going to give you a placement test, and this placement test will determine which Korean course you place into like which one is at your level. And so I signed up for beginner 3. If I recall correctly, there are 3 levels of beginner, 3 levels of intermediate, and 2 levels of advanced. So you can pick from either one of those. So the last few things I'm going to talk about are like personal things, things that you take care of outside of the actual program itself. So the first thing I'll talk about is your flight. So I was impatient and I booked the flight before program dates changed, which I didn't know they were going to change, but they did. So I was very, very lucky in that I had extended my flight range so far out that even though the program dates changed, I was still within good time, like for my arrival date and departure date. So you set up your own departure date from Seoul. You don't have to leave soon, like as soon as you get done with the program. You can leave whenever you want to once the program is over. So I am going to be flying out on June 20th, so that's 10 days from now, and I will be leaving Seoul on August the 12th, so I'll be coming back into the United States on August 13th because it's an overnight flight. And to give you an idea of what my flight looks like, I know every single person's flight is going to be sort of different. I'm flying with Delta Airlines, and I'm going from Huntsville International Airport to Atlanta International, Atlanta Hartsfield, and then I'm going from Atlanta to Narita in Tokyo, Japan, and then I'm going from Narita to Incheon, which is the larger of the 2 airports within Seoul. So I have 2 layovers. It's going to be a very, very long process of flights, but eventually I will get there. I'll actually be landing on the night of the 21st, so it's going to take about nearly 2 days to get there. I'm not excited for that. The Atlanta to Narita flight is going to be like a 14-hour flight. So if you can, try to make them as short as possible. That was pretty much my only option, was unless I wanted to change airlines. So how my flight worked, again, everyone is going to be different, but I won a certain grant from my home university that gave me the money for my plane ticket, so I didn't really have to watch how much I was going to spend on it up until a certain point. But some people are more conscious, so there's a student website that I've heard of for booking flights, and I forgot the name of it. I think it's Student Universe, but I'll put it right here on the screen and I'll link it in the description as well, that has cheaper flights because you're a student. As far as preparing for the study abroad and packing, Delta allows me 2 free checked bags as well as 2 carry-ons. So my carry-ons is going to be my purse and my backpack, and my backpack is going to have most of my valuables in it so that in case my checked luggage gets lost, I'll have, you know, my laptop, my camera, my chargers, and a change of clothes. So I definitely recommend doing that. As for my checked bags, because I have so much room to bring stuff, I'm not really worried about how I'm gonna pack. I'm gonna be in Seoul for 7 weeks, so I'm not gonna be there for that long. I think I've put out maybe 10 or 12 outfits within my luggage right now, and I've filled it with all of my clothes that I'm gonna need, and it's pretty much filled the first bag, so there's not much else I'm gonna need besides like toiletries and stuff like that. You don't have to bring your bedding, you don't have to bring towels. At least I don't think you have to bring towels. I know you don't have to bring bedding, but I'm not sure about towels. I wouldn't think you have to bring towels, but make sure wherever you go that you look up the average weather conditions for your country that you're going to for that time period, because I didn't know until about a month ago that the time period that I'll be in Seoul is going to be the rainiest period that the entire country sees all year. So July has the most rainfall out of any month that South Korea has, and I think I read somewhere it's like 20 days out of the entire month it's raining. So make sure if you're going to South Korea you bring some waterproof shoes or a waterproof jacket or both, or an umbrella, probably an umbrella, so that you have that and your clothes don't get ruined every time you go out because it's raining. So just be conscious of the weather. It does get very hot in South Korea, so I'm bringing things that are lighter in fabric, like lighter texture, and short sleeve shirts and shorts. Also a lot of comfortable walking shoes, because even though Seoul is a sprawling city, you are gonna have to walk from like bus stops to the places you're trying to go, or from a stop to a taxi, or walking in between classes even, because the Yonsei campus is huge. Yeah, just be careful of what you pack. Make sure you bring everything you need, but not too much, because you don't want to have more than you need and take up space that you could use to bring something back. With all of that being said, it is June 10th right now. In fact, the day is closing down on June 10th, so it's nearly June 11th, and I have 10 days from takeoff. The things that I'm doing to prepare, I'm kind of just screaming because I'm very excited, but I'm not very worried about it because I have been abroad before, just not for a study abroad. I went to England a couple years back. The main thing I'm doing is just making sure I have everything packed. I have to be at the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning for my first flight, so I'm going to take you guys along with me with this camera. Sometimes I might use my phone, so the angle might change, my lighting might change, my quality might change, but still I'm going to bring you guys along with me as I hop from airport to airport until I am in Seoul, South Korea finally. So make sure you guys click the subscribe button and click the little notification bell so you can get notifications when I post any new videos. I'm hoping to post a new weekly video, hopefully weekly, if not maybe every 3 or 4 days, so that I can update you guys on how my life is going at Yonsei in Seoul, South Korea. So, until next time, bye guys!